Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are in the brand new German battleship Scharnhorst. Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm not a huge fan of this ship. So, let's throw that out there right off the bat. It's classified in the game as a battleship, even though it definitely does not feel like a battleship. Now, don't get me wrong, this ship can take a beating. So it's definitely not due to the armor that it's not a battleship. The issue that I have is that the main batteries are so freaking small. I forget how big they are, but I think they're 286 millimeters, which means, and I know what you're thinking, well, Spartan, that doesn't seem like it's that small to me. Well, just think about this. They're the smallest battleship guns in the game, I believe. I think the previous winner of that was 305 millimeters. So, yeah. And this is a tier 6. Most battleships get out of their 305 millimeter guns at, what, tier 4? So, definitely not preferable as a pure, I'm gonna punch you in the mouth, sniping battleship that you're used to. However, it can be utilized at range effectively, and it can be utilized to kill cruisers very effectively. The problem with this ship comes to killing battleships, like true battleships. If you're in a 1v1, you're going to struggle against other battleships, especially if they're bow tanking you. But where this ship does have an advantage over other battleships is it has torpedoes. And the torpedoes are nothing to sneeze at. The torpedoes have 6-kilometer range, and that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Think of those times where you go broadside to broadside, when you guys are getting into a nasty fight with another battleship and you're just trading shots until one of you succumbs to your injuries. Now imagine you have 3 torpedoes on both sides of your ship. So you have 3 torps on the left, 3 torps on the right, port and starboard and all that. You can really turn a fight around with some well-aimed torps. Now, that being said, you better aim them correctly. Because again, in just a slobber knocker of a match, you're going to struggle to be as effective with your main batteries versus other battleships. But if you switch to high explosive, then some of that trouble starts to melt away, because now you're able to put out some serious damage and you're setting fires. Setting fires and putting damage out there is always a good thing. Now we run into the edge of the map because I'm a dork and that happens sometimes. But as you can see, we're trying to hit the New Mexico over the top of the house, or over the top of the mountain up here. And we do get some more hits. We've already set a couple fires in this match. So now we're waiting. We know that I want to say it was a King George is coming towards us. We have some help, but he's already been pounded on. So we're just waiting for our chance to potentially get a chance to shoot the King George. And we're detected, and hello, King George. How you doing? Get some shots. And this is one of those times where the King George gets to fight another battleship that prefers to use high explosive. And we set a fire. He shot armor piercing at us, didn't do much to us, and he now put the fire out. Which means the next time that I set a fire, he's going to be burning for a little while. But in my true fashion, I'm not going to be able to set a fire, because every single time that somebody has a chance to burn for a long time, I just get unlucky. Every shot that I hit somebody with just doesn't set a fire. But, oh, there we go. We got a fire, and he's going to be burning for a minute. So we're waiting for our opportunity to come through and absolutely broadside this guy. We've still got high explosive loaded. And he's coming towards us at a weird angle, and we're being shot by the New Mexico that we were shooting at earlier. But we get some more damage, and we damage all of his secondaries, and it's just doing as much as we can to be effective with these tiny guns in a battleship game. So, sometimes it's not the most glorious, but death of 1,000 cuts is still a death. Oh, hello, Benson. Oh, hold that thought. We're starting to become outnumbered here. Got me and another battleship versus 2 battleships and a destroyer. And now I'm setting up my first torp strike on the New Mexico. We go ahead and launch our torps from the left side of our ship. That way when we come about and start trying to shoot at the other guys, we could potentially launch them off the right side of the ship. Now you can see I kind of left the Benson and I left the King George alone to try to focus this guy down. And I was hoping that I could hit him with these torpedoes, and we managed to avoid getting catastrophic damage there, but you know, it's not too bad. We get our second salvo of torpedoes off, and he's already turning. So those are very likely to miss. But now that that's done, the Benson has decided to show himself. He is going after our King George, and so I'm going to try to clean the Benson off of his backside. And I got to be trying to get as many shots on target as possible. We knock out his torpedo tubes, we knock out his guns, and we're just trying as best we can to get rid of the torpedo threat, because torpedoes are nasty. Now, as you can see, I didn't manage to torp him behind us. So now I've got to be thinking about that and thinking, how am I going to be able to finish off this New Mexico that's behind me while I'm also trying to scrape this guy off of our King George. I was unable to get him off of our King George, and our King George managed to die. It's unfortunate, but it is a thing. So now we've got the Benson coming straight back towards us. We don't have to worry too much about torpedoes, but we are trying to get rid of them. And we're knocking all of his health out. We're trying everything we can, and you know, dispersion being what it is, decides, nope, sorry, we're not going to let you kill him here. And then a teammate manages to finish him off. But then that leaves the New Mexico over here, and while I'm waiting for the guns, guess what I can throw? Hi, hold those torpedoes for me, New Mexico. You got a little bit of health left. Now he's going to put a pretty nasty little thumping on me here with all 3 of his shots that he fired at me. But we got away with it. This thing is nearly impossible to citadel. And I say nearly impossible to citadel because you can citadel it. But the way you citadel this thing is more as a mistake of the person operating it than it is good aim by you. I'm not sure how the armor is laid out in this ship, but after sailing this thing enough, and I've played it quite a bit, after playing it as much as I have noticed that when I am at about a 60-degree away angle from somebody shooting at me, say I was broadside and I'm trying to turn towards them, you're better off staying broadside completely than you are trying to turn and close that angle. Because if you get hit in just under your front turrets at like a 60-degree angle, that is a citadel nearly every time. At least it is against me. Maybe other people don't have that issue, but against me, it has happened more than once. Now, it's usually against really big guns, like the Colorado, the Iowa, and the Nagato, and the Amagi. Those are usually the ones that are doing it to me. It's not so much the British or anything like that. Now, we do manage to take down the Nuremberg, and we're going to try to cut back and help our buddies over here. And we got a couple Scharnhorsts over here. So we've got armor piercing loaded. We're just going to go ahead and start letting loose. Now you'll notice that I already lost one of my turrets on the front of the ship. So I only have 2 turrets left. And so that's not preferable. But, you know, what can you do? But I'm trying to get in between my teammate and them, because he is not long for this world. I'm looking for the torpedo strike. I do get a shot at it, so I go ahead, throw the torps out there. Now I'm going to try to turn to port, but unfortunately this guy is going to still run into me. And I say run into me, it could have been me running into him as well. It doesn't really matter who did what. We crashed into one another. But the closest Scharnhorst to us doesn't have a whole lot of health, so even though we've already put the torpedoes out there, we're going to go ahead and try to whittle him down. Now, this ship has ridiculous secondaries. So I think that this ship would do well as a fully secondary build. Because the guns aren't amazing to begin with, you don't really miss the extra range that you get under your normal battleship build. So, being able to absolutely rip things apart with your secondaries could be very, very valuable. So, look forward to that video when I can manage to pull it off. I gotta get a battleship captain that will allow me to do it first, and I am just not getting any German captains at all. So, that's frustrating. But we're trying to take down the second Scharnhorst here, and we are broadside to some cruisers, and that's not preferable because they're just ripping us apart. This Aoba in particular is ripping us apart. Now we're on fire twice. We can only get, you know, two guns to bear on the Scharnhorst, and I am doing everything I can to try to sink this man. I can't torp him. Now we get torps sent our direction. It doesn't look like I've got to worry about them too much. It looked like they were aimed a little too far behind us. So I go ahead, keep shooting, and unfortunately we burned to death. Or I guess the Scharnhorst got us with his secondaries. But this Nagato on our team is going to be a bit frustrating. He starts off by firing his guns right there. So I know he's playing. And then he just refuses to fire them again. So, I'm not going to make you guys wait through this because it's incredibly frustrating. But, yeah. After these guys, or this guy fires like once or twice here at the beginning, he literally just quits firing, sails in a straight line, crashes into an island, and gets torped to oblivion. Which is frustrating because he could have easily killed the Scharnhorst, and it was him versus cruisers, and no. Maybe he disconnected. I don't know. I haven't had any issues disconnecting since, what, it would have been last week, like last Monday or Tuesday. So, maybe other people are still having issues. Maybe this guy disconnected, but I don't think so. I think he just decided, screw it, I ain't going to do anything now. I'm just going to sail in a straight line. If they kill me, they kill me. But, seriously, don't do that. But anyway, let's fast forward a bit. Alright, now that that's over, let's see what we ended up with, guys. I think it was probably my best game so far in this thing. 119,000 damage, 3 kills, top the leaderboard. Not too bad. So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.